Everyone gets the house they should get for one reason or another, whether it's a learning experience or they bought it really, really cheap and they sell it, really, really high and they make a great profit, or they buy the house and their future wife or husband moves in across the street.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome back to The Closing Table. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh, and joining us on this very special in-studio episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with Missy Vandercook. How are you, Missy?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for asking. So we are here to pick your brain about real estate, specifically in your market based on your experience.
Perfect.
But first, before we get into that, of course, I have an icebreaker for it. It's called Fill in the Blank, Missy.
Yes.
Got a couple sentences that are incomplete. They have blanks, and I need you to fill those in with context to make it make sense.
I'll do my best.
Is that fair?
Yep.
Let's do it. First one. If you want to purchase a home today, the first thing to do is blank.
Go and talk to a lender. See what you can afford. Because you don't go to the grocery shop, grocery without knowing how much money you have in your wallet to spend.
Yeah.
Don't go looking for a house that maybe you can't afford.
Yeah, that's legit. I would agree with that. Let's keep it moving. Sweet. Blank can be the reason your offer gets rejected during a purchase.
You don't have proof of funds, or you're not qualified. I mean, that's one of the biggest. That, or right now we're seeing a few of the issues are repairs.
Oh, yeah.
If you're asking for too many repairs or your type of financing.
Yeah. Good notes. Good note. Your property would sell much faster if you blank before selling it.
If you did all the repairs needed.
Yeah. Ooh, see how that just
got it.
Full circle.
Put the curb beauty out there.
Yep, I agree. Last one. My real estate market is mostly affected by.
Right now, our market's mostly affected by the interest rates.
Yeah.
They're higher. They're not really high. This is kind of normal. We were just spoiled with an all-time low.
Of course.
But I'm hoping in the next year they'll come back down.
Okay, good. That's a glass half full type of perspective. We like that. Some people, I think they're going to get higher, but
You
no one knows.
marry the house, you date the interest rate.
And there it is right there. Well played. Thank you, Missy, for playing our icebreaker, starting things off a little socially loosey-goosey. So now we kind of slide into talking about you, Missy. In 60 seconds or less, can you tell us who you are outside of real estate?
I am a mom of two. I have a 19-year-old son, almost 20, and I have a 9-year-old son. I'm also the mommy of a 4-legged dachshund, long hair. He's a cute little guy. My husband is we've been married 11 years.
Nice.
And I live just on the north side of Jackson County on a beautiful lake that is kind of a hidden secret. And that's me.
That's the thing about being a real estate agent. Like, all the homes in the neighborhoods for the most part within your market. So then the fact that you can have, would you say like a secret lake house or something like that? I love that. I would use those same powers to, kind of give myself that.
Sure.
So yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you, Missy, for giving us some insight into you. Let's talk about where you do your business now before we even talk about business. Can you describe your market twofold? One, geographically, give as much, notable landmarks, things that people do around there, describe it for people who may have never been to your market. Secondly, let's talk about real estate going on there, any activities, the economics of real estate in that market.
So geographically, I'm located in Jackson County. So we have lots of lakes. We have lots of it's really a huge mix. We have downtown areas, we have rural areas where we have farms, we have subdivisions. So really, we offer a lot of everything.
Nice.
Our kind of geographic, we go into Ingham County a little bit, into Leslie, where all of Jackson. We go a little bit into Washtenaw, probably Chelsea Dexter area. We come into Eaton Rapids here a little bit. And then we head south a little bit, Lenawee, Hillsdale. So we have a huge market area.
I was today years old when I found out you pronounce it Lenawee.
Lenawee, yeah.
I know it's Lenawee. Nawee. I never knew it was pronounced like that.
It's like Mackinac and Mackinac.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay, good,
Don't
good.
even get me about the up north places. Kitchitippy and
Yeah. Whole nother language right there, right? So what's going on with real estate economy? You have any numbers for us? Any average price points and things like that, please?
So right now, from last year to this year, we're up about 20%. Our average sale price in my market is $235,000. So that's huge. We normally would have said 120, 150, somewhere in there. We have not seen a lot of new construction over the past few years, so that slowed down our inventory, but we're definitely seeing a huge push. We work with a couple of builders who are actually building and helping people get into homes without having to do a construction loan, which is amazing and unheard of. But we're definitely seeing it. Our numbers are down as far as inventory. Right now we have, on a normal range, we carry about 2,500 listings, and we're at about 900.
Ooh, I hate to hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's
so you have 2.5 realtors per listing in my MLS. So it's a lot of competition. There are probably even more buyers than that.
Yeah.
But our numbers are going up. So we're seeing a lot of houses getting listed. Yeah. So it's a good thing. I think we're on that right path, especially with new construction coming back.
That's good. So you said, when you say the number, just for clarification, you say the numbers are going up. You're talking about pricing.
I think pricing has steadied a little bit with the higher interest rates.
You're just talking about the inventory from what it was worse to it's kind of okay. That's good to hear.
We're seeing more listings.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah, we were seeing, on an average day, I would get into our MLS and we would see 3 new listings, 5 new listings. Now we're seeing 17, 18.
Okay.
So that's a great thing.
Okay. So the interest rates are kind of, if you want to say working, it's kind of like taking some buyers out the market, bringing some more homes in the inventory. And unfortunately, it is taking some agents out of the market too.
For sure. We have seen some resignations. Yeah.
I have seen that. So that it's unfortunate, but it's the nature of the beast too.
Oh, for sure.
It's the nature of the beast. So
and some have just said, you know what? I had a great run. It's time to retire.
Yeah.
So
I get it. Yeah. If you can bow out respectfully, I get it.
Yeah. Go out on a high.
I want to talk about some crazy experiences throughout your career. So let's get into it. I want to talk about one of the weirdest, strangest, oddest things you've seen in a property to date.
So I've seen a lot. As far as houses, I mean, I have seen hidden doors to nowhere.
Really?
I've seen, talk about floor to ceiling carpet, literally carpet on the floor, up the walls, on the ceiling. Very, very, very strange things. DIYers, some of the DIYers that shouldn't be DIYers.
Yeah, I can see that.
You go to close the bathroom door and it hits the toilet. Like,
hey, as long as you can get in.
you can't get out. Or some that literally the toilet and the vanity are an inch apart. Like you have to step over the toilet to get into the shower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So crazy things, mirrored ceilings.
Yeah. An acquired taste, I will say.
I have come into house parties, morning after house parties.
Wait, so like you'll walk into the house and there's people there partying.
Lots of things there.
Oh.
I've been chased out by dogs. The scariest one, I was showing a house to a good friend of mine, and we get upstairs. It's a 2-story house, and we get upstairs, and I can hear water running. And this was like the foreclosure market time, and I'm thinking, oh, great. It's cold, frozen pipes, Right. So I get my phone out, and I turn the corner, and here is a homeless man giving himself a bath in the sink. And I'm not a fast runner, but I was way faster than her that day. And I don't think I hit a step on the way out of the house.
So you didn't say hi, is what you're saying.
And I think she got in my car before, like right after me, but it could have been I could have left her in there.
Wow.
We laughed a lot about it, but so he was climbing up the antenna, busted a hole in the attic, then came down through the attic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But again, this was foreclosure market with tons and tons of vacant homes. So there was some, crazy things.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you've seen a lot. And
a lot.
Anytime I ask that question, I know that's probably one of those questions where you can get any and all types of responses from all types of experiences. And with you going to different homes, different neighborhoods, and some of these homes, like we said, are empty, and they could have been empty for months, years, weeks, whatever. But you just never know what you'll find inside of that.
No, so you're always kind of on guard. And luckily now we have some safety features in hand. So like I can set a timer on my phone, and if I don't like respond back, it will text my husband and my broker and give the latitude and longitude of where I'm at. So we've got some really good safety features now.
I like that. I love
realtors.
that. Love that. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about your professional expertise helping out a client. Your client is looking to sell their home. They say, hey, the market right now, I'm hearing about everybody's getting over asking. So I want to my house may appraise for 200, maybe worth 200. I want to put it on the market for 275. But you don't think it's a great idea. Have you been in a situation like that? And can you talk about how you kind of climbed them off the ledge to bring it normal?
I kind of give them the example, you're driving down the road and you see this car that you wanted, right? It's a classic car. Oh, I wanted it. It's beautiful. It's mint. And you stop and it's 70 grand.
Ooh.
And you're like, it's only worth 40. Are you going to buy it?
No.
Do you think that seller is even going to look at your offer?
No.
Okay. Same scenario.
Okay.
Or when you're in and you see, something in a store and you're like, oh, a chair, I want that. And you look at it and you're like, no way. I'm going to wait till it goes on sale.
Yep.
That's the same idea with real estate. There's a sweet spot in your marketing and in pricing. And if you don't get it in that spot, buyers have all of this technology in front of them to be able to see what every other house around you has sold and photos. And they know what the prices are. So typically, if you overprice a house, it will sell almost 20% lower than what it should have, because you are then forced to reduce and reduce and reduce. And we see it all the time. So you're better off to price it fair and have, because we have so many buyers, get interest, and then they outbid each other.
Yeah.
And then that raises the price almost higher than where you wanted to price it.
That's a good point. So when you're in a situation where you have done that, you have to talk them down the price. Do you get a lot of pushback? How do you handle that pushback?
Sure. And, and I do my best, and not everybody agrees with everybody. And then maybe I'm not the right realtor for them. And that's okay. I wouldn't want to work with somebody who I didn't, have confidence in, and I feel they shouldn't either. I always will say, you know what, we can try it. I'll try it for a week. How about we do that? And then after a week, let's do this. In the first week in our market, if you have no showings, it's price.
Yeah, especially in today's market, for sure.
If you have no offers, you really know it's the price. Because even if you're close, somebody will give you an offer. If you're $5,000 apart, they're going to give you an offer.
Yeah, so you kind of let the market kind of determines and kind of react to whatever you're doing, and you kind of show your clients, hey, we aren't getting anything. It's not really, this
Absolutely.
isn't, I completely understand that. Can you talk about a time where maybe you had a client, or a potential client, I should say, buyer or seller, where they were a little hesitant to kind of even go through the process at first, but your expertise, use your knowledge and expertise to kind of talk them into, being your client and easing them into the transaction?
And again, it's you have to feel that trust and that connection with someone. I will never promise anything in this business. The second you say, I guarantee, or I promise, something falls apart, and it could be an act of God. We just went through that a few years ago. You can't promise anything. I just tell people, I'm going to do my best. Right. I'm going to do my best. I'm working for you. I'm looking out for your best interest. The more money you make, the more money I make. So we're in this together. A realtor does 184 tasks during a transaction.
Oh, I have seen that. The point list, checkpoint list.
When listing a house. Yeah. So a lot of people don't even understand what goes on behind the scenes.
Good point.
My job is to not bring those to you until it's an issue. I take care of those things. I facilitate the repairs. I do the investigation. Is there sewer? Is there well? Is there, things like that. I look at the zoning. I look at the restrictions. So I kind of tell them all the things I'm going to have to do or show them. And then they know I'm going to do my homework. Yep. And there are things that can slip through the cracks or things that just can pop up that no one would ever know. Maybe somebody wants to buy a house and they want to put a commercial building in there, and they may not be able to, or turn it into a daycare or have horses. So, correct. But that's my job, to take care of those things and figure everything out, and then just let my seller know, here's the solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And that segues right into my next question, which I was going to ask is basically, has there been a time where you actually had to, go behind, not even had to, but that's natural, where the clients aren't going to see everything that you do.
Right.
They're not even supposed to, if we're being honest.
No, they're not.
It's literally them delegating a task of purchasing or selling a home to the professional, trusting you to do your due diligence, which most of it is done behind the scenes. And then at the end of the day, you come with a result, a solution to whatever they're looking forward to. So I like that perspective, and I like that you kind of expounded on that. If you can talk about it a little bit more, but I like for people, home buyers and sellers, to know that your agent isn't just, although you're probably not their only client.
Correct.
They're not just, passing you by the wayside or just waiting for a phone call. They're literally every day doing different things. Like you said, home inspections, the zoning, and things of that nature.
Everything. So getting photos taken, coordinating with the photographers and doing floor plans and just getting the marketing ready. I mean, literally a marketing on a house takes you an entire day just to get it live on the market.
Absolutely.
So we do a lot. And unfortunately, everybody thinks I can just Google it and do it and save my, save commission, and I can do it myself. Sometimes, yes, that works. Okay. If it's just a clean cut, simple deal, there's no issues. But if a realtor puts a house on the market, so we right now in Michigan have almost 90,000 realtors. We have a lot.
That's crazy.
So my listing of your house goes up to 90,000 realtors and all their clients. You can put it on the other companies online. But is it really going to reach the amount of people? You putting a generic for sale sign in the front yard, are you going to reach the most? Are you going to have those realtors working together and having that interest and all of those clients kind of overbidding? Typically, when you do a for sale by owner, it sells for 20% less.
Really?
Than with a realtor.
Interesting. And
we know how to price them.
It makes sense, though. It makes sense. Yeah. You're the expert.
And we work with the appraisers, and we work with the inspectors. And so we do a lot behind the scenes, and a lot that people don't know. And you're right. A lot of times if a buyer calls me, they're not my only buyer. Or if a seller calls me, they're not my own.
Of course.
I do my very best. Even a text, I'm with a client or I'm tied up at the moment, I'll call you as soon as I can.
And just to support that claim too, I call, text, or email agents to be guests on the show, and Missy clearly responded and showed interest, and now she's here. So that it may be something that seems small, but if you're seeing an agent here on the closing table, they literally communicate well. They literally respond to my texts, my emails, my phone calls. So I would like to go ahead and support that claim.
Even just
great
a text
communicator.
back if someone asks me something, I'm not sure, but I'll check.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What are some of the marketing channels that you use, or maybe one of the most successful or effective marketing channels that you use?
Obviously our MLS is the most effective. So when we put something into the multiple listing service, it goes out to over 100 different websites. So, you can't do that just on one platform. So that's the biggest. The other is our social media. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, not so much.
Yeah, I can see that.
TikTok, but a lot of that is just funny realtor videos and I'm busy working for my clients. I don't want to dance.
Yeah, more busy. I get it. I want to talk about dealing with clients. Not all clients are going to be happy, helpful.
Nope.
You're going to have those demanding and difficult clients also, Missy. Can you talk about your experience dealing with one?
I definitely have had some, and I don't want to call out specifics.
Of course.
But I guess I will say this. If I believe that I was honest and I was ethical and I did my very best, no matter the pushback that I got, and I got to the goal. The goal was getting them what they wanted, getting the price, the price they wanted, and getting the property sold, or getting them in the house they wanted at the monthly payment they could afford. I did my job.
Yeah.
Now, there are things that will pop up that we don't know about. I can't see behind walls. I can't see what's under the ground. Right. That's the joys of home ownership. You buy a house and you go to dig up the backyard and you find something buried. There are things, maybe it's a jar of money and you're welcome.
Right.
But there's always those things. And I guess, you're never going to have a perfect run.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's our job. And I understand it is the most stressful thing. I'm helping people spend $200,000, $300,000, $500,000. When we bought a cabin up north and our whole family went in. We bought it as a vacation place for all of us.
Nice.
And my in-laws, who one is a retired judge, the other was a retired principal, my sister-in-law, who is an attorney, and I'm asking them, what would you guys like to do? And they're saying, I don't know. That's what you do. You just do it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm thinking, what if I make the wrong decision as a buyer? So I was in the buyer position. And it was stressful.
Yeah.
But I had to just kind of, take myself out of it. This is how I would do it. And so it doesn't,
I love that.
It is stressful. Yep. I get it. And our job is just to make it the least amount of stress possible by giving them all of the information.
All the information. You literally landed that plane perfectly. I couldn't have said it better. I like the fact that you brought up the fact that we're dealing with transactions that are $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 homes.
Marriage is easier and quicker.
Oh, I wouldn't know, but yeah, see.
Well, it can be.
But overall, the fact that you're dealing with so much money at one time for a person who probably have never seen that money, so it is going to be stressful.
And a lot of moving parts all during that. Moving out of this house and into this, or coordinating movers, or maybe they're selling this and moving into the new one.
Correct.
In the same day. I think the craziest we ever had was a 5 domino effect. This buyer had to buy this house, they had to buy this, they bought that.
How did that go?
That was a Xanax day. Luckily, the realtors that I was working with, it was a great group.
Right.
We all had really good communication. We just kind of kept everybody on one thread of updates of where we were. But we've had those kind of deals. The middle one falls apart, or the first one falls apart, which trickles.
Yep.
So this is a stressful job.
Yep. Stressful job for an agent, but then, like we said, stressful on the client's 100%. Position too. So one of the guests on the closing table said this, brought this perspective, and I completely got it. Almost all of your clients are going to be demanding because of that. Exactly. And I'm glad you see it that way.
Sure.
So you don't, with that being said, you don't even necessarily consider your clients to be demanding because that almost comes with the territory.
Right.
You just kind of step in your professional hat and you kind of neutralize the situation and make it as smooth as possible.
Yeah, you try. And,
Love that.
And again, there are things we know in our head, right? Because it's our industry. And sometimes you don't think that, maybe the buyer doesn't know that, or maybe the seller doesn't know that. But we just do our very best to communicate everything.
Yeah.
And get them ready to handle situations.
Correct. Most people might think real estate agents, all they want to do is just buy or sell someone's home so that they can get their commission check at the end. That's not the case at all. I want to talk about a situation where you may have done the opposite. Maybe you talked the client out of purchasing a home because there was something that you saw. Any stories of that?
Oh, I mean, there's a million. I have told people, I don't think this is a good buy. It needs too much work. You don't have the capital to be able to do this. You're going to be in it forever. Another thing is, somebody says, I'm approved of $500,000. Yeah, but what can you afford every month? And then what's your gas and what's your consumers and what's, your food? And do you have, if you have your kids and they're in sports or you want to go on a vacation even. So I don't ever want anyone to be house poor. So I have actually not worked with people because I know that that's going to be a foreclosure. They're not going to be able to afford it. Yeah, I've said I'm not the one for you. I don't like to be house poor. I don't want that to, come back on me.
I love that.
I just had a situation. A friend's son started looking at houses and, I like this one. And I'd say, it's not for you. And for good reasons. He wanted to, build a barn. Well, you can't do it here, or it'd cost you too much money, or whatever. And unfortunately, his father ended up passing away. But his mom came up to me and said, "Thank you for not finding my son a house." Oh. So it
sounds crazy, but I get it.
Everything happens for a reason. And my mom used to tell me this all the time, and she's my broker, and it drives you crazy when your mom tells you and it turns out to be right.
Yes.
But everyone gets the house they should get for one reason or another, whether it's a learning experience or they bought it really, really cheap and they sell it, really, really high and they make a great profit, or they buy the house and their future wife or husband moves in across the street. There's a reason for everything.
Absolutely.
And when people get disappointed because they didn't get the house they were looking at, it's probably because a better one's going to come along.
Yeah. And they don't see it at the time.
Well, no.
But,
when you have your heart set on something, you don't.
I imagine that happens a lot, especially for first-time home buyers.
For sure.
Yeah. How do you, when you're telling someone, I don't think this is the right house for you, and they give you their initial reaction, like what goes from there? Like, are you, hey, trust me, it's this, or I have something else lined up, I think it'll be better. Like, how is that really, their reaction to you kind of telling them not to?
So I give them reasons why.
Right.
This foundation is crumbling. It is going to be a minimum of $50,000.
Ooh.
Do you have that? Ooh. Well, no. Okay. Do you have somebody who can do it? Well, no. Okay, then you have to hire it. So it's logical reasons. Or, you told me that you didn't want to drive more than 30 minutes to work. This is an hour. So please understand, with $5 in gas, whatever, $4 a gallon.
Yeah, you can say $5.
Yeah. and wear and tear on your tires.
Correct.
And it's all highway. And we live in Michigan. So that hour just became an hour and a half in the winter.
Preaching today.
So, I try to go through those things. Yeah. It doesn't always work, and I do what my client asks me to do. If they want to write on it, they write on it, and they know I've given them my professional opinion.
Of course. I love how you had all things considered, the roads, the fact that we are in Michigan, which makes a big difference.
I am not a highway driver.
Oh my good. That makes a world of difference in the wintertime.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me. So I love that you consider all of that.
I will drive every back road at 25, 30 miles an hour possible to get somewhere before I get on the highway.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, me too. I'm not a big fan of it.
I had kids and then they ruined my, just doing anything.
Yeah.
Now I think about them and...
Oh, yeah. Super calm, cautious mode.
Yeah.
Yep, I get it.
Anxiety after those two. I couldn't leave their dad with them.
Right. That's funny.
He does need me.
I have what I feel like is one of the most valuable questions for you.
Okay.
For our audience of home buyers and sellers, if you are in a position where you are looking for your first home, you're a first-time home buyer, in today's market with today's interest rates, in your market, what approach would you take to owning your first home, knowing what you know now and the resources that are available?
So knowing what I know now, if I'm I'm coming at it, if I'm a first-time home buyer. Okay. So if I'm a first-time home buyer, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go first, potentially maybe where I bank.
Okay.
So, but always local, because we have went through a lot in the last few years. And we know how long the hold times are. So if you have an issue and you can't get a hold of somebody and you're in a queue waiting 45 minutes, it's much easier to drive to your lender's office.
Good point.
First, go to a lender. Get pre-qualified. They're going to say you are approved up to X amount, but have them break it down. What is my payment going to be? Do I have PMI, which is private mortgage insurance when you don't have 20% down or 20% of equity in something? And what are my new taxes going to be? Not current taxes, because that is a huge piece that people don't understand. If the taxes are $1,100 a year on a house right now, they will uncap. And they will go up based on the new value of what you just purchased that house for. So they can go up sometimes almost 48%.
Take notes.
So if that just took your payment from $1,000 a month to $1,700 a month, can you afford it? It happens. It really happens. So get pre-approved, and then pick your agent. And don't pick your agent because you see them on this, that, or the other. Pick your agent by their reviews, or ask a friend who just bought a house. How did you like this agent? How was the communication? Interview.
Good point.
Interview agents. You don't have to use the first one that you talk to, and be comfortable with them. Know that they have the knowledge and they have your style. Some people just like to be text. Some people like phone calls. Some people like to sit down in person. But as a first-time home buyer, and I understand everybody's busy, you really need to sit down with someone.
I agree.
At least a half an hour to go over the steps and how does this go and what do we do and what's the difference between an inspection and an appraisal. And we understand that you don't know. That's okay. That's why we're here. I don't know how to do some of my buyers' jobs, and I would never, ever, even try to anticipate I do.
Right.
So it's okay, and it's okay to ask all the questions. I'd rather my buyers be really, really informed and realize before we're out there looking at 50 homes that I have to stay in this price point.
Right.
Because what my taxes will be, because again, you marry the house
and you
date
the rate.
Interest rate, but your taxes are the same, if not go up forever.
Oh, you're marrying those two then. You're marrying those
house
two.
And taxes, house and taxes. The two things we can rely on in life, death and taxes. They all happen.
They will be there.
But that's I think for a first-time home buyer is invest as much in your realtor as you do your doctor or, any other professional in your life. I want to know that my professional knows what they're doing and I have confidence in them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One thing that I like about what you said is doing your due. First of all, the local banks, first and foremost. Like you can get caught up in these big national lenders and chains, and because they do a lot of marketing, you think that's the way to go. No, there's a bank, credit union right around the corner from where you live. You probably pass it every day going to work. Go ask them some questions.
Yeah.
See what they can do. They're more familiar with that neighborhood. They're more familiar with the area. You can meet with them on a face-to-face basis and build that relationship with the lender. It'll work out better for you, theoretically speaking.
For sure.
I love that.
You can walk in the door.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing that I liked you said was interviewing the real estate agent.
Sure.
I want to ask you something. When someone is interviewing a potential real estate agent, what type of questions should they be asking? Or what type of questions do you think your client or you wish your clients would ask you for clarity on the job?
And you're right, they don't know. So I always tell people, this is my availability. I shut my phone off at this time or I don't respond until the next morning because my family's important to me.
Correct.
And I need to have that decompression time just like you do. What's your best, how do you like to communicate? Do you like email? Do you like text? Do you like phone calls? Because everybody communicates differently. The other thing is, what is your experience? If you know what your financing is, let's say it's FHA or it's VA, which calls for different types of homes. Homes have to be in safe, sound, and secure condition. So do you know the difference in that type of financing? Do you understand what MSHDA is, a MSHDA back, down payment assistance? So it's a lot about the knowledge and not just, hey, we became friends and I like you. I want my professional to know. I go to my doctor and, I want him to have, the background.
Provide as much resources as possible. Absolutely.
Or just be honest enough to say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
That's a big one.
And find out.
That's a big one.
And find out. Like, call them back and say, this is what I found out.
Yeah.
I've been in the business a long time. And not that that makes me any better or any smarter than the next, but I still am 23 years in it. I still learn something new.
As you should.
Every single day.
Absolutely.
It is ever changing.
And if you're talking to an agent who feels like they know everything, that's probably not the right agent for you.
Right.
The market changes so frequent. Even interest rates change. So that just lets you know that if the interest rate is changing, people's behavior behind it is changing, which means the market changes. So you have to change. You have to grow. You have to learn on a daily basis. So great point.
Yeah, I used to write, contracts on the hood of my car out in front of the house and then hand deliver it to the agent. And then they would call and say, okay, where are you at? I'll hand deliver it or fax it. They don't remember.
They don't remember fax.
No. We had to wait an hour for a photo to get developed.
She took it there. She took it there. Yeah, that's true.
Or drive to a real estate office to pick up the key to show the house.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about that too.
I mean,
none of the lockbox stuff or anything. Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow.
And now, thank goodness for the lock boxes we have because they're Bluetooth and they're secure. Only agents can get into them. Oh. So you have to be a Realtor member, at least in our, a lot of areas now. Yeah. But I have to use my phone and my facial recognition or my PIN, and I have to have an appointment at that time frame to enter that house. Oh,
even the appointment. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
so it's such nice security now crazy. For the sellers.
Yeah, nice. That's good to know. Well, thank you so much, Missy. Thank you for pulling up a chair to the closing table. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, please do so now.
So we have an office in Leslie and we have an office in Jackson. You can visit our website at www.sproatrealty.com, and that's Sproat, S-P-R-O-A-T. Call us 517-589-9677, or just stop in and visit us.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Missy. We appreciate it. And for our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the episode, do us both a favor and hit the like button, please, and thank you. Make sure you also share the content and subscribe to our channel. And if you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. And Missy, I'm going to leave our audience with a question before they leave the chat. Great. If you don't mind. Sure. Gotta get your brains going, audience. So this is for you. Has your real estate agent ever recommended that you do not buy a property that you were interested in? What reason did they give you for not wanting to make the offer? Don't tell us now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that, we'll talk to you next time.